Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we go back and we look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. This episode, we have Netflix 302nd film from 2020. It's the Mexican Spanish language horror film, The Day of the Lord, or Menendez Parte Un, or El Día del Señor. It's directed by Santiago Alvarado Illarri and stars Dolores Heredia, Ximena, Romo, and Juli. Fabregas. I'm Jesse. Apologies, my Spanish is not fantastic. I'm your host. Thanks for joining me. Hope you're looking forward to discussing this horror film. Still going through October of 2020, where we have plenty of horror films in time for Halloween. As always, if you're keen on checking this film out, give us a pause. Come back a little bit later on because we will spoil this show as we go. And we kick off with the Fast Flicks, where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one, it's about an excommunicated priest who is convinced into performing an exorcism, even though his methods are extreme and have got him into trouble in the past. Ooh, intriguing. International film, as always, could not find anything about this film, really. It was super hard to find anything. It was released on Netflix worldwide on the 30th of October 2020. The translation of the title in Japanese is called Day of the Road. A little bit confused, but that's all good. Had the working title just of Menendez, and Menendez is obviously in the Spanish subtitle as well. He is the priest that we follow throughout this film. What are the critics and audiences saying about this film? Rotten Tomatoes, it's only got 4 reviews, so no critic consensus. All of those are rotten though. The audience has it at 50%. That's on less than 50 ratings, so on that poor side as well. IMDb sits at a 5 out of 10, halfway, bang on. Only on 1,200 ratings though. And same for Letterboxd, only has 778 ratings. Sits at a 2.8 out of 5, and it's only been logged by 940 odd people. So looks like not a lot of people have seen it or gone out of their way to say that they have seen it. I've seen it now, so I'll give you my early thoughts. I think I probably enjoyed this more while I was watching it than I did looking back on it, sort of preparing for this show. There's this one scene, I guess, which is absolutely criminal to include anywhere in a film, and it doesn't add anything other than to that torture, horror, porn canon, I guess. So middle of the range for me as well, just to I guess what everyone else is saying. Let's talk about the characters. Obviously Menendez, his name's in the title, not the English title, but pretty much the title for other countries around the world. He's this priest, and I guess he's lost part of his faith. His last exorcism that he did went wrong. He ended up in jail for murder. Now he lives a secluded life and sort of heading towards alcoholism. He's been in love once, but committed himself to other connections with people, helping people out. So trying to be a good guy, I guess, but we do see things throughout this whole film that sort of, as an audience, make us question whether he's a good guy. Trying to throw us off, I guess. I don't know. It's sort of a mixed bag of what's going on the screen. The other sort of person that we meet in this film is Sabas. He's Menendez's friend. He appears to have have had his own troubles in life with addiction and crime, and he's obviously known Menendez because he's helped him out previously, and he's comes to him for help again, to help with his daughter and to save his daughter Raquel from the devil because he believes that she's possessed. He knows that he's committed sins in the past, but he doesn't want his daughter to have to pay for this. And, he sort of says, I'd rather see her die than be with Satan. So, obviously a dad that wants best for his daughter. Raquel, the daughter. I find it very hard to say anything about her other than her being a rebellious teenager who is possessed. And I don't know whether that rebellion is from being possessed, because it doesn't really make it clear either. And Marissa is this woman who just keeps appearing in Menendez's dreams. And she's the mother of the child that he killed during an exorcism. So, she's sort of haunting him, I guess, even though she still comes over, does his dishes, helps him out, and doesn't hold any ill feelings towards him. The director, Santiago Alvarado Illarri, 5 directing credits, all in Spanish, all sort of look like that horror gore sort of genre. I think there's a comedy in there too, so we'll see what else he does. Scenes, what are some scenes that stood out? And this is it's a blur line between the scenes that stood out and the ones that I didn't want to see, because some of the ones that I saw are just hilariously funny when they're not supposed to be, and that's why I like them. So we'll start off, this is a good one technically, but Menendez at the start of the film, he's in this cop car, handcuffed. There's cops watching him at the start, and then he's on the road, and the road sort of transitions into this red cross before the title. Really cool effect. I thought that was good. We have Menendez being told about Raquel beheading her cat, and he just turns back to the alcohol, keeps drinking. I thought that was funny. This is ridiculous. Menendez opens his laptop. He's a priest, and he's looking at a website called Horny Girls. And then he just closes his laptop while it's trying to load. Thought that was funny. Raquel, she rocks up at Menendez's house with headphones on, listening to rock music, like just to show you this must be the devil's work because she's listening to hard rock music. So that was really funny too. Raquel, she tries to escape Menendez's house because she doesn't want to be there, and she pulls out a taser and goes to taser him, but it's the wrong way around, and she tasers herself. Thought that was hilarious. I don't think it was supposed to be funny. Menendez, he goes to kiss Raquel. Just a weird moment, and then he headbutts her to knock her out. That was funny too. And finally, this is a good laugh. Menendez, he's trying to do this exorcism, and he's got Raquel's dad there, and he's like, saying, he's got the Bible, and he's saying, "Forgive me, Lord," and he just rips out the pages. He's like, it's for a good reason, rips out the pages of the Bible. I thought that was funny too. Forgettable scenes. Some of these are still funny, but Sebas, Raquel's dad, he pulls a knife to his throat to threaten Menendez to take on the exorcism because Menendez is having second thoughts, and he's like, he's going to kill himself if he doesn't take his daughter's case on. Just really bad. Menendez smelling Raquel's clothes, that was gross, and I don't know, it's trying to make you as an audience think he's a creep, but I don't know why we needed it. Raquel, she explains that she's a teenager and has done some bad things, but she doesn't do drugs and she doesn't steal candy. Hilarious. And then literally the next scene we see her lighting a joint anyway, so that was funny. Raquel, she has ambition of being on a talent TV show on TV. Funny. Raquel does this weird dance for Menendez. That was gross. The whole, and this is that scene I mentioned in the intro, I guess. The whole Raquel with her dad doing like sexy dance moves on him. We've got fellatio, intercourse, way too much, just not needed at all. And then finally, Raquel, at the end, she's leaving the house. She's been absolutely beaten to a pulp by Menendez, really, and her dad at times. And she thanks Menendez on the way out while this dramatic music kicks in. Oh, God, give it a rest. Themes, ideas. What's this film trying to say? Obviously, the idea of priests losing their faith, the power that they actually have and the lack of consequences, maybe, that they face sometimes. The idea of evil, the devil lurking, good, possibly needing to win in the end at times too. What else did I take away from this film? I think Raquel, the idea that the actress that's playing her was a teenager was hilarious. She looks like she's lived a hard life. She looks like an older woman. I just thought that was hilarious that they made her out to be a teenager. And the post-credit scene, I've got to mention it. We have Menendez, he sees a nun, and then they have the audacity to have this title card that comes on the screen saying, part 2, La Buena Muerte, which means the good death. There is no sign of this sequel anywhere online or anything, so I don't think it's happening. But just like the balls to put that at the end of your film, thinking that it's going to get greenlit, hilarious. All right, questions, ponderings, ideas. Menendez, like I mentioned before, he's on the computer searching for like horny girls on his computer. He sniffs Raquel's clothes. They try to show like him as a creep. I get that. But then they try to show all the methods, and the same with this toilet scene too, and they try to show all the methods he used in a montage for the exorcism. So these actions are normal. But was he? I don't know. Like, was he a normal guy? And I don't feel like... And I guess that we need to know too, like at the end of the film, there's that title card for the sequel, like where he's on the phone, and we sort of see that the phone's disconnected, and he's been on this phone talking to someone throughout the film. So who was on the phone? Is it an imaginary person? Is it all in his mind? So open to interpretation. I don't have an answer, and I don't think the film gave a good enough way of explaining it either. But I'm ready to wrap this up. Let's give the film a rating out of 5. I mean, the film, it didn't drag. The performances, they're okay and effective at times, I guess. Probably not for anyone other than gore horror lovers, but it's still fine, even though maybe the parts that I enjoyed I wasn't supposed to, because they weren't supposed to be funny. It was supposed to be serious. I'll give this a 2.5 out of 5. We are on socials. We've got X, formerly known as Twitter. We've got Facebook and Instagram. Give us a follow. Give us a like if you can. The post for this episode sort of ties in what I was talking about, but is Menendez suffering from mental health issues? Like that phone being disconnected, there's a reason there. Why? What is that? Or is it the devil doing more work? Who knows? I'd like to know. We're back next week. Next week, it's not an international film, which is, but it's a Christmas film, so it's okay. It's from 2020. It's a Christmas romantic comedy called Operation Christmas Drop. This one's directed by Martin Wood and stars Kat Graham and Alexander Ludwig. Bring it on. A Christmas film in the start of March. That's okay. It's going to feel a bit off, but we're there. As always, thanks for listening, and I will see you next week.